Welcome to the Megacast, our live local 5 days a week look into all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. Today we'll be talking about a number of different topics of interest and importance to Michiganders like you. Let's begin with what's making headlines on CivicCenterTV.com's local news page today. Our first story comes from the Detroit Free Press's David Jesse, as Michigan State University has reportedly told its president, Samuel Stanley, that he has until tomorrow to resign or face the board deliberating on firing him for cause. Sources tell the Free Press that this dispute is over President Stanley's recent decision to relieve business school dean Sanjay Gupta of his duties over Title IX issues, alleging that Gupta, quote, failed to report sexual misconduct allegations under our mandatory reporting policies, and closed quote. The reaction from staff at the business college was immediate, and the board of trustees began to be asked by those staff members, many of them, to investigate the firing. Should President Stanley step down, he is, per his contract, eligible to receive an additional 1 year's salary, about $960,000. If he is fired for cause, however, he would exit with nothing. This is the third consecutive presidential controversy at Michigan State following Luana K. Simon's exit in relation to the mishandling of the Larry Nassar sexual assault investigation and scandal, as well as interim President John Engler's exit that followed controversy regarding inappropriate and frankly distasteful comments that he made about Larry Nassar's victims. From controversy in East Lansing to resolution in Ypsilanti, as reported by the Detroit News' Hannah McKay, as Eastern Michigan University and its striking faculty have reached a contractual agreement ending the 5 days long strike. The faculty union announced that the strike was over via Twitter this weekend and said that its members would return to work, including in the classroom, on Monday. No details on the final contract that was decided on between school administrators and the faculty union were provided by the school's administration to the Detroit News or other outlets as of this morning. Finally, making headlines today on CivicCenterTV.com's local news page from the Oakland Presses and Runkle. Oakland County pharmacies say that there are plenty of COVID-19 booster shots to go around despite increased demand. These new updated boosters became available after this week after federal agencies last week, such as the FDA and the CDC, reportedly gave their stamp of approval. In a statement, CVS, one of the most common pharmacies found here in Oakland County, said, quote, since initial supply is limited, patients who would like to receive the updated boosters are encouraged to make an appointment using our digital schedule. Digital scheduling offers patients flexibility and convenience, as well as the ability to schedule multiple patients at once, which makes it easier for families and other groups that want to get vaccinated to do so together, and closed quote. That's not necessarily the case, the availability and the ease of use at small and independent pharmacies, so check with your local pharmacy for availability and scheduling appointments instead of walk-ins, or if walk-ins are better than trying to schedule. All of those headlines are on our website at CivicCenterTV.com on our local news page, along with links to the CDC, MDHHS, and Oakland County Health Division's updated COVID-19 web pages. We have a great program ahead today on this Monday edition of the Megacast. Up next, stock market coach Jason Brown joins us. You're watching and listening to the Megacast.
Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Mark your calendars for the 11th Annual Family Fun Night at West Bloomfield High School. Stop by on Friday, September 16th at 5 p.m. for an evening of free, fun activities as we honor our military, police, and fire heroes. Plus, stick around to see Laker football take on Clarkston at 7 p.m. To find out more, scan the QR code on your screen or visit wbsd.org/community/family fun night.
Let's savor these moments. Made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily 5 days per week look into all things Michigan on TV, radio, and streaming. I'm Tyler Kieft. Learn more about our program at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find more information on all of our partnering stations all across the Great Lakes State, including My Michigan TV. Joining us now on the Megacast is Jason Brown. He is a stock market coach from the Brown Report, joining us once again on today's edition of the program. Jason, thanks for being with us.
Tyler, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you on. So as people are going into the stock market or are continuing to invest their hard-earned money in the stock market for a variety of different reasons, and this is something we touched on the last time you were on, either they're trying to kind of not necessarily gamble with their money, but try to, get a quick turnover in some of these investments, or they're making true investments for the future and going for long-term gains. But before they make any of these investments in any certain stocks that maybe they're looking into, what are some questions they should be asking, and what are some details they should really be looking for from one stock to another?
Yeah, so one of the things I'm passionate about is taking the complicated and making it simple. And so most people think trading or investing is gambling because they're not sure what to look for. So 3 of the things that anyone should look for and could look for without having to go to college for this stuff or feeling like they need to get some Series 6 or 63 license is number 1, sales, number 2, revenue, and number 3, their earnings. Now, most of the times when you hear that, you're like, okay, what does that mean? So I want to show you, I put together an example to show the listeners and the viewers how it forms the story. So if I may, can I walk into that example?
Sure, absolutely.
Perfect. So I want you to think about this. I want to use something that most people are familiar with. Most people have an iPhone or some type of smartphone. So when you look at the company Apple, and you can apply this to any company that you're thinking about investing with, instead of just asking your friend, do you think it's a good company? First thing you want to look at is their sales. So they have to sell something to bring in some money. And so if you look at Apple, you say, wow, they sold 1 million iPhones. Okay, but is that good or is that bad? And so sales is one component. So we know that they sold something. We know that they sold 1 million of that something, that iPhone, but we still don't know if it's good or bad, which is where we go to revenue. So now we get a little bit more information and say, well, what was the price that they sold that iPhone at? Let's just say they sold 1 million iPhones, so we got sales, but they sold it at a cost of $1. Now we have revenue. So we can say, wow, they brought in $1 million. So now we have more pieces to the story. We sold something, 1 million phones. We got a cost at $1, so we have $1 million in revenue. But once again, is that good or is that bad? So now we have to go to earnings. And earnings is going to bring in a new component, which is, well, in order to terms of good or bad, how much did we pay for the iPhone to make one? And so with that new information, let's just say it costs Apple $100 to make an iPhone. Now we have one piece of the third component. So we got 1 million units sold. They sold for $1. We have $1 million worth of revenue, but we just found out it costs us $100 to actually make an iPhone. So that technically means we lost $99 million. Does that make sense? So now we're like, is that good or is that bad? Now we're like, okay, that's not as exciting. At first I was excited. We brought in $1 million of revenue. But now that I found out we lost $99 million because it cost us $100 to make the phone, that's not necessarily good. But the profit statement or the earnings statement is also going to tell you where if we did profit from. So what if they then gave you the last piece of information and said, but wait, out of the 1 million people who bought the phone, yes, it cost us $100 to make. We sold it for $1, so we lost $99 million on selling the phone. But every last one of those people signed up for iTunes and they paid $10 a month. And the average life of a subscriber is about 12 months. So now we get to understand that we really make $10 million a month or $120 million a year. So we're willing to lose 99 million on the iPhone, selling it, get the unit out there, because the real profit comes from getting people to sign up for the music subscription, which brings us 120 million a year. So now we net profit, or should I say gross profit, $21 million a year. And then they start to back out things like, how much do we pay our employees? How much do we pay for our buildings and equipment and different things like that, or healthcare? And then you're left with the profit. But what I really want people to understand is, if they know those three things: what are the sales, what are the revenues, and then when they go to the earnings statement, they can see where they lost money, but where they made the money back potentially, or maybe they didn't make the money back potentially. And now people have a better or simple basis to learn from themselves. Is it a good company? Is it a good business model? Versus just going in some random forum or asking their friend, do you think this is a good stock? They can look all this up because it's public information, and they can have a better confidence and feeling about the stock or the company that they're buying.
So you mentioned this is public information. Where can people find that information so they can do these investigations?
So great question. So because it's public information, the companies have to publish this quarterly. So it's called a quarterly earnings statement. So there's several different places you can find it. Every publicly traded company has an investors relations page. So you can go apple.com/investor relations. You can go to Best Buy/investor relations. That's one place. You can also do something even more simple and just go to CBS Market Watch, which most people are familiar with CBS Market Watch. When you type in the company's ticker symbol, there'll be a tab that says financials. The problem is just most people don't know what they're reading until we just broke it down like we did here. So it's going to say sales, it's going to say revenue, and then it's going to be an earnings section. And in that earnings section, there'll be stuff like taxes that they pay, depreciation, amortization. But without getting fancy with all of that stuff, because they're gonna line itemize every single thing. Big picture, people just need to know sales, revenue, and earnings. What did they sell? How much of it? And then are they making money on it? And if they want to get fancier, they can kind of dig into the financials and say, oh, they lost money because they bought a new building, or they lost money because they implemented a new tax code which changed how much money they would make. So that's what Wall Street looks at to make a decision if a company is a quote unquote good company or bad company. Even if they lost money, they're like, well, they really made money, but the tax code changed. But for the average person, if they could just look up those three things, they'll be in a better situation of feeling good about the companies they purchase.
And so looking at those three things, maybe they see a lot of good news in that. They see that the earnings are high. They see that the revenues are in check, and they are looking through all the financials and realize that the costs are relatively low. But sometimes that's not necessarily meaning that the grass is greener over there. What are some of those red flags that they should be looking for as they're investigating some of this information, and that should make them take a step back and either do even more extensive investigating or forego purchasing any stock in this company or that company altogether?
So yeah, such a great question. So first you want to get those three down, but then you can start to advance your knowledge, because the market is forward looking. So what the market, or what Wall Street, I should say, when I say the market is looking for, or hedge funds or big investors, what they're looking for is to take it a step further and say, okay, so Apple sold 1 million iPhones. How does that compare to last quarter? How does that compare to last year? So now that you know what you're looking for, you can start to do comparisons, and Wall Street will say, wait a minute, last year they sold 2 million iPhones. Sales are slowing down. That might be a red flag. Why are sales slowing down? But then they might take it a step further and say, well, they doubled the price of the iPhone. So sales are slowing down, but they're making more per unit. So we're okay with sales slowing down if they're making more per unit. So it's more about the story that's going to give you the red flag or the green flag to keep going, as long as you understand the core components. And then sales could be up year over year or quarter over quarter. Revenue could be up because they raised the cost a little bit, but perhaps there is some new law or something that is going to, or maybe we have some headwinds and they say, whoa, but we're not selling phones in Russia or Ukraine because of the war. And also we got into an issue with China and 25% of the phones are being sold in China. So even though they had a great quarter this month or this last 3 months, I foresee problems of them continuing to do this because we lost China, we lost Russia, we lost Ukraine. So now you can start to pull pieces of the story and project. Do you think this is going to continue being good, or do we see what they call headwinds that may push them back from continuing on this awesome path or trajectory?
We're joined by Jason Brown, a stock market coach and trader at The Brown Report, joining us on today's edition of the Megacast. You can find more information on thebrownreport.com, thebrownreport.com for more information, and sign up for Jason's newsletter to get more helpful tips. So, Jason, as you're looking at those kind of core three principles, sales, revenue, and earnings, when you're looking into making these investments, how does that information you're looking into and what you're looking for to make that informed decision, how does that change for someone that's trading versus investing?
That's a great question, too. So when you're trading, you're more so trying to take advantage of a pattern that is happening at the moment, or they'll call it technical analysis, right? And so when you're trading, you might not necessarily care about what happens year over year, month over month, quarter over quarter, because you're just looking to take advantage of what's called a chart. And so when you look at a chart, there's these levels called support and resistance, which are prices where basically the market is saying like this stock is oversold or undervalued. And then as it goes back up, there are levels where people in the market and people are saying, I'm not willing to pay that price for it. And it's hard for the stock to break through. So it turns around and sells off. And so when you're trading, you're looking for those levels of where it's a good deal or perceived to be a good deal from a price standpoint. And then you're looking for those levels where it's overpriced to potentially take your profit. And to do that, you don't necessarily need to look at sales, revenue, or earnings. You need to look at a chart the same way that the weatherman looks at a map. You're basically just trying to say, is it an 80% chance that it's going to rain today? I don't necessarily care what's causing the rain, if it was a tornado, if there's a heat wave. None of that matters, which is sales, earnings, and revenue. You're just like, I looked at the weather map and it's an 80% chance it's gonna rain today. I'm gonna go out and sell umbrellas and see if I can make some money because it's an 80% chance somebody's gonna need an umbrella today. And that's what you're looking at when you're trading versus worrying about, well, why is it raining and how long is it gonna rain? You're just looking to take advantage of a 80, 90% potential opportunity.
Jason, a couple more minutes with you before we'll say goodbye today. At this moment in time, given the still relative uncertainty that there is in markets in the U.S. and around the world, what are some lasting tips for right now that you have for those that are investing and are trading to be looking out for, given the current circumstances of our market?
So if you're investing, I know people say that there's a lot of uncertainty, but what's funny about that is one thing you can be certain of is long-term, the market goes higher. That's just 100% a fact. You can look back through any depression. You can look back through 9/11, which we that just happened as well. So, it just made me think about anybody who was affected by that. My heart goes out to them. But I'm just using it as an example to say, no matter the tragic incident, long term, the market goes higher. So if you have the time to wait it out, you will be okay longer term. And for anybody that's taking advantage of trading during this uncertain period of time, uncertainty allows you to actually make money faster because markets move up really quick in times of uncertainty, and then they fall really quick in times of uncertainty. So you can get in and get out and make some pretty sizable income if you know how to do it. And I'm not saying it's all risk-free. There is risk to doing it. But if you know how to do it, you can become really rich in a short period of time during uncertainty.
TheBrownReport.com for more helpful tips and information as you are trading and investing in the stock market with stock market coaches like Jason Brown. Jason, appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. TheBrownReport.com, again, is his website for more information. You can also sign up for his newsletter there as well. And the prompt that comes up when you join him over on TheBrownReport.com. We'll take a break on the Megacast. When we come back, we're heading into holiday season for those who practice Judaism. We'll talk to Rabbi Kasriel Shemtov from Chabad-Lubavitch of Michigan next about those holidays and why this time of the year is so important for Jews all across the state of Michigan and around the world. That's up next. You're watching and listening to the Megacast.
Fire Prevention Week is just around the corner. Join volunteer, part-time, and on-call firefighters at this year's Fire Open House. Catch up on your fire safety knowledge with live demonstrations and hands-on activities. Chat with local businesses and resources about fire prevention, see some familiar faces, fight future fires, and make some new friends. The West Bloomfield Fire Open House, October 2nd from noon to 3 p.m. at Fire Station 1 on Orchard Lake Road.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Mark your calendars for the 11th Annual Family Fun Night at West Bloomfield High School. Stop by on Friday, September 16th at 5 p.m. for an evening of free, fun activities as we honor our military, police, and fire heroes. Plus, stick around to see Laker football take on Clarkston at 7 p.m. To find out more, scan the QR code on your screen or visit wbsd.org/community/family fun night.
Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live, local, daily, 5 days per week TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. You can learn more about the program by visiting our website, civiccentertv.com/megacast. You'll find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Joining us now on the Megacast as we're heading into the middle part of September, and at the end of September, we begin the Jewish high holidays. Vice President and Executive Director of Chabad-Lubavitch of Michigan, Rabbi Kasriel Shemtov, joins us once again on the Megacast. Rabbi, thanks for being with us today.
Hi, good to be here.
Good to have you with us
Good to
as well.
see you again.
Yes, good to see you as well, Rabbi. So as we talk about so often, people, when they think about Jewish holidays or important parts of Judaism, they're often thinking about Hanukkah. That gets probably the most press. It gets the most attention, I think, of many of these holidays. But it's not necessarily the most important holiday. All holidays are important in every faith. But this time of the year is really an important time of the year for those who do practice Judaism as we head into late September with Rosh Hashanah and then into October with Yom Kippur on October 4th and 5th. Can you tell us about these two holidays and why they're of significance to those who practice Judaism?
Well, Rosh Hashanah is the first day of the Jewish New Year, and it's also the name Rosh Hashanah tells you the story. Rosh Hashanah means the head of the year. Just like the head of the year controls the whole body, affects and impacts the entire body, the same is true with the year. Spiritually speaking, we see this day as the day of judgment, the day when God decides for each and every one of us, not only human beings, but every creature, of what will transpire during this year. And therefore, this year is sort of the year that the way it goes on the first day, that's the way the year goes. And this is the day that Jewish people come together to celebrate and to come together in the synagogue, connect to God, connect to our source, become a better person, make the resolutions for a good year, and to create that better year.
And there's also some really important messages too in this. It's kind of that clean slate moment that we kind of get in the general population of people worldwide on January 1st of a new year. It's really a similar feeling for practicing Jews in Michigan and around the world who are celebrating these high holidays later on this month and as we head into October. But can you speak to how that element of rejuvenation and redemption and a clean slate really plays into an important part of what this holiday and these holidays mean?
Absolutely. You know, it's interesting because this month, the last month of the Hebrew year before the high holiday, is the month of Elul. And during this month, that's the time when we do our introspection, our accounting, like you would do in December, you know, to plan before the audit, before you come to the first day of the year. And there's an interesting metaphor that's given for this month. And the metaphor is the king is in the field. You know, just now in the news, we have in our day and age, who would think we're going to be crowning a king, but it's there. Millions of people are calling, save the king. Well, in the spiritual journey, we talk about God as king. And the month before that first day of the year, the king comes out to the field. We could be in middle, we could be sitting on our tractor, we could be plowing the field, we could be dirty, we could not be prepared. We haven't been around the palace in a long time, but the king comes out to us and he's smiling, he embraces us. And that's because this month is a month in Jewish tradition when a Jew comes clean, when we are able to embrace God, even no matter what our year was like, that we can come to that first day with a clean slate, exactly as you have expressed, and be able to begin a fresh new year. And we do that by taking on new resolutions and by looking forward to a year of bringing goodness and kindness into the world and into ourselves.
So, over the last few years with COVID-19, you and others in the local Jewish community here in southeastern Michigan have put together a number of different events to help people celebrate the high holidays and other holidays as well, and times of gathering in the Jewish faith. And that's happening again this year at the Shoal of West Bloomfield, where they're going to have high holidays celebrations for Rosh Hashanah on September 25th through the 27th, as well as Yom Kippur from October 4th and on October 5th. Can you tell us about these celebrations that are going to be happening at the Shoal in West Bloomfield and how Jews in the local area can participate in this, and maybe other people too that would like to learn more about this important time of year for those who practice Judaism?
Correct. Well, I'm here today as the rabbi of the shul Chabad-Lubavitch, which is the shul that you're talking about. But you opened up with my title as rabbi of executive director of Chabad-Lubavitch of Michigan. And these services of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are available in centers all across the state through Chabad-Lubavitch of Michigan. And at a later date, we'll be able to share that information. There's a special website where they can get that. So anyone, wherever closest to where they live, can participate. In terms of the shul, we have wonderful services planned for this upcoming high holiday for Rosh Hashanah. And it's a time when the community comes together. In our case, this Rosh Hashanah is a special Rosh Hashanah because we're celebrating our 20th anniversary of our new center of the shul. You know, it was 20 years ago, it feels like yesterday, that we opened up our new center. The first gathering and the first services was on the eve of Rosh Hashanah 20 years ago. And it was interesting because even that morning, we were still laying the tile while that evening was going to be this big holiday and hundreds of people coming. But everything was we came in right into first base, at the last moment. And that was an exciting time. And there was a lot of excitement within the community because it was a new center. It was a beautiful building. And we opened it for all. We had a big sign in front that said, "It's a home for every Jew." The shul is based on the teachings of the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe of blessed memory, that taught us that we have to be able to open up to every person, no matter walk of life. They should all feel welcome. There should be no judgment. and everyone is welcome. And many people came to the shul to be able to celebrate, and that started on that first night of Rosh Hashanah. So this year, in addition to it being a time when we celebrate and have the blowing of the shofar, which is the highlight of the holiday, we blow the ram's horn. It's the special biblical commandment that we do on Rosh Hashanah, and that's all going to be happening this Rosh Hashanah here at the shul. And everyone's invited. Every member of the community is invited.
You can find more information on theshul.net. That's THESHUL.net for more information on their high holiday celebrations that are happening September 25th through October 5th at the Jack and Miriam Schenkman building, located in West Bloomfield, just off of Maple Road. The exact address, 6890 West Maple Road. You can also call them 248-788-4000. 248-788-4000 for more information. And Rabbi, what sort of celebratory events will be happening during that week at the shul to celebrate these two really important holidays for local Jews?
Well, I want to tell you about an event that we're having prior to Rosh Hashanah,
sure,
as a prep for Rosh Hashanah, which is going to be on Wednesday night, this coming Wednesday night, the 14th, here at the shul. We are going to begin to celebrate the 20-year celebration, and we're calling it Broadway Night at the shul. And this is David Babinet. He's a wonderful singer. He'll be singing opera, Jewish music, Hasidic music, all, kind of a mix, and cantorial music. And he'll be presenting for us. He's also telling a personal story because he made a journey of Judaism. You opened up today's show with this segment with how many Jews are familiar with Hanukkah and Passover, but not necessarily Rosh Hashanah. In fact, that's exactly what David Babinet told me when he grew up. All he knew about was Hanukkah and the Passover Seder. He knew very little about his Judaism. And it was only after he went to school and he became a singer that he was introduced to that journey. And he's going to tell that story with his music. He has a beautiful presentation to make. And in addition, what's interesting with him is he's a mixologist, and he makes this incredible presentation of drinks, which is created with a theme. And this way I could teach about Rosh Hashanah as well, because in our case, what he does many times is he has you drink from a fruit. And they're very, very beautiful, tasty presentations. And this time he has you drinking out of a pomegranate. Why a pomegranate? So Rosh Hashanah is famous, very well known with the tradition of eating apple and honey. You take the apple, you dip it into the honey, and you bless each other with a sweet year. Okay, that's one of the traditions of Rosh Hashanah. What's not as well known is the tradition of eating a pomegranate on the eve of Rosh Hashanah. Why a pomegranate? So a pomegranate has many seeds, and it's a sweet fruit. And our tradition teaches us that, we come on the first day of the year, and I said, it's the new year, it's a day of judgment, and you kind of could be looking at another person and thinking, they don't have that many good mitzvot. They don't have that many good deeds. I don't see in them any goodness. And our sages tell us that every one of them is mileim mitzvos karimon, is full of good deeds, just like a pomegranate. So you sit down and you eat a pomegranate, those sweet seeds, and you say to yourself, that's how each one is filled, because even what you don't see, there are so many good deeds that we are doing and others are doing. So Rosh Hashanah is also a time when we eat that pomegranate and remind ourselves the good in each and every one of us. And that's what we're going to be doing on Wednesday, September 14th, here at the shul. And every one of the community is invited. You could go online, get your tickets, and come and join us. It'll be an elegant night of music and fun. And this is an opportunity to invite everyone prior to Rosh Hashanah. And it's going to get us into the spirit of Rosh Hashanah.
You can join them on Wednesday of this week, 6:30 p.m. at the Shul, the Jack and Miriam Schenkman building in West Bloomfield on Maple Road. Again, theshul.net for more information. That is the Shul, THESHUL.net for more info. And once again, Broadway at the Shul, September 14th 6:30 p.m. That's this week, Wednesday. The Rosh Hashanah celebration, September 25th through the 27th at the shul, followed by October 4th and 5th celebration for Yom Kippur. Rabbi Shemtov, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Once again, theshul.net for more information on all these upcoming events, the pre-Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur event that's happening this week, Wednesday at 6:30 at the shul, and then, of course, the events for the high holidays later on this month. We'll take a break on the Megacast. When we come back, we'll talk to two officials from Oakland University who are helping to participate in many programs through Pontiac Reads. That's coming up next. You're watching and listening to the Megacast.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Let's whoop it up for these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Fire Prevention Week is just around the corner. Join volunteer, part-time, and on-call firefighters at this year's Fire Open House. Catch up on your fire safety knowledge with live demonstrations and hands-on activities. Chat with local businesses and resources about fire prevention, see some familiar faces, fight future fires, and make some new friends. The West Bloomfield Fire Open House, October 2nd from noon to 3 p.m. at Fire Station 1 on Orchard Lake Road.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily 5 days a week TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. Learn more about the program on our website, civiccentertv.com/megacast. You'll find information on our entire network of partnering stations all across the Great Lakes State, including My Michigan TV. Joining us now on the Megacast are a couple of officials from Oakland University. Diane Baldwin is the Campus Community Engagement Coordinator, and Dr. Tany Christ is the Professor of Reading and Language Arts at Oakland University, here to talk to us more about Pontiac Reads, a program they both participate in leadership positions. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate having you both on. So let's start off with you, Diane. Tell us just a little bit about Pontiac Reads. Give us an overview of this organization that both you and Dr. Christ participate in.
Okay, so I'm actually going to kick it over to Tanya because she's the one who leads it. Okay. So she can speak more eloquently than I.
Well, Pontiac Reads is a member of the National Campaign for Grade Level Reading. And the mission of Pontiac Reads is to ensure that all children here in the city of Pontiac are proficient in reading. And our vision is to invest in Pontiac children's right to literacy access and equity by intentionally and explicitly providing community-wide support for literacy development. Specifically, we're focused on children from birth to grade 3.
And so this is also part of the reason that both of you are here to talk about this is because you don't have an interaction between the campus of Oakland University and the community in the area around Oakland University and in Pontiac in particular to participate in these programs. What is that relationship? And how does that help to benefit people that are having maybe some literacy issues or need some help to kind of build their literacy to a level that should be at?
Well, we've had a relationship with the city of Pontiac for a long time now. We've embedded our undergraduate pre-service teacher courses in Pontiac since 2009, so for about 13 years. Now we're embedded in several of the Pontiac schools. And so we've been doing that kind of work together for a while. Additionally, we have reading clinics that we run at the master's level at OU, and we've often served children in Pontiac that way as well. Pontiac Reads is a new initiative that we started just a little over a year ago. And two of the faculty members, myself and Tomoka Wakabayashi, are both involved in the Visionary Council for Pontiac Reads. So there's kind of multi-levels of engagement.
So then, Diane, going to you, how do people in the community in Pontiac get themselves or their children involved in Pontiac Reads? And then what is that then process of getting them connected with someone maybe from Oakland University to help them with their literacy?
So I'm going to kick back to Tanya because this is her program, but I can just kind of give you a quick overview here of my role. I work across the campus of all the schools. And so I help connect campus and community. And I support the work of Tanya and the work that she does, the other professors. And before we end today, I'm happy to share some more ways we work in the Southeast Michigan area and also some upcoming events that we have going on. But it's really important for Tanya to pipe up here and say, like, how do people connect with you and get involved?
Well, people can actually go to our website, pontiacreads.org, and learn more about the organization, link to our mission and vision statements, and also donate if they're interested. One of our current initiatives is Alexia Launch. Lexia is a program that delivers literacy instruction online. It's research-based, it's computer adaptive, so it gives children just right kind of support. And we're working with 8 organizations that serve children in after-school programs right now to serve over 200 children with this Lexia Launch. One of the things that we're hoping for are donations of Chromebooks. We need about 170 Chromebooks to get this launched. So if anybody is interested in donating Chromebooks, they can reach out to me. My email address is christ@oakland.edu. That's CHRIST@oakland.edu. And I would be happy to help you make that donation.
We're joined by Dr. Tany Christ as well as Diane Baldwin from Oakland University, joining us on today's edition of the Megacast to talk about Pontiac Reads. As Dr. Christ said, you can learn more information about the program by visiting pontiacreads.org. That's pontiacreads.org for more information. Dr. Christ, when those connections are made between members of the community that are in need of some of these services and those that are helping them with these services, what is the structure? What is the process that's undergone to help them further develop their literacy or catch up in their literacy development?
Well, the Lexia program addresses multiple areas of literacy. So it provides phonological awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension instruction, all in a just-in-time kind of support for students. And so kids will be able to get online on their Chromebooks and access the Lexia subscription program in order to be able to spend more time out of school, not only engaged in literacy, but getting actual instructional support for their literacy development.
We're joined by both Dr. Tany Christ and Diane Baldwin from Oakland University. Diane is the Campus Community Engagement Coordinator, and Dr. Christ is a professor of reading and language arts at Oakland University. Of course, all those programs at Oakland University and more of what they participate in the greater community can be found on oakland.edu, including their community relations, oakland.edu/community. Find more information from their Office of Community Engagement, oakland.edu/community. Diane, you mentioned there are a number of upcoming events through Oakland University to address some of these issues and other ways that Oakland is connecting with the community here in Southeastern Michigan. Give us a preview about some of these events and how people can participate.
Sure. So they happen either on our campus or in the community. And I have some dates. September 13th, which is tomorrow. We have an Oakland County Candidate Forum through our Center for Civic Engagement. It's on our campus and it's from 5 to 7. And it is free. September 21, which would be next week, we have a Peace Day concert, which is our 5th annual Peace Day concert with Upland Hills School in Oxford. And that is, of course, free. And that's done here by our School of Music, Theater, and Dance. And it's about ending racism, building peace, and world music kinds of things, humanity, uplifting hearts, etc. September 24, which is a Saturday, we're doing some work in Rochester Hills with the University Presbyterian Church. And we have an opera around Julia Child and the work that building a cake, and then there's some opera around it. It's kind of fun, a little bit interactive. And then 2 more in October coming up, which we can talk about later as well. But we have After Roe, the Constitution, Rights, Policy, and Politics. That's a Zoom. Sometimes we do in person, sometimes we do Zoom. And then October 21st is a Friday, and it's our first ever Civility Day. And we have more to say about that, maybe at a different time, but that's going to be pretty exciting. It's an all-day event, and it's free to the community.
And then, Dr. Christ, to go back to you, if people want to participate in Pontiac Reads, maybe they don't necessarily have some further developing to do in their literacy, but they want to help with Pontiac Reads' mission and the ways that it's helping out in the community, how can they participate?
Well, there are multiple ways to participate. We have collaboratives that focus on different aspects of literacy. So early literacy, after and out of school literacy. They focus on wellness and health. And so people can participate with those collaboratives. There are sometimes opportunities for volunteers to get involved, as well as financial and donations of materials. We're always giving away books, lots and lots of books. I think I've given away 300 in the last couple of months. Through Oakland University's generous donations. And so donating books is also something that could be valuable. However, we do really look for books that are culturally relevant for our kids here in Pontiac. And so all of those are different ways that people can get involved. If you go to the website, PontiacReads.org, you can also find an email address to reach out to us that way. And if you're interested in participating and supporting the Alexia Launch, you can reach out to me directly at christ@oakland.edu.
Dr. Christ, Diane, we thank you both for joining us. Before we let you go, Dr. Christ, anything else we haven't talked about that people should know about Pontiac Reads?
I think it's just really important that we support all of our children to reach their literacy potential, because it has vast impacts for academic success and future opportunities in their lives.
And Diane, anything else of note today from the Office of Community Engagement at Oakland University?
How about just come out and see our campus, walk around. We have a fountain, we have a tower, we have a carillon. We are open to the public. It's a beautiful fall and people can walk around and feel free to explore what we have and visit our events.
Well, we thank you both for joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
PontiacReads.org is the website for Pontiac Reads, and for Oakland University's Office of Community Engagement, that is oakland.edu/community. We'll take one final break. We'll come back. We'll review all of our resources on our website and wrap up today's edition of the Megacast.
Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Mark your calendars for the 11th annual Family Fun Night at West Bloomfield High School. Stop by on Friday, September 16th at 5 p.m. for an evening of free, fun activities as we honor our military, police, and fire heroes. Plus, stick around to see Laker football take on Clarkston at 7 p.m. To find out more, scan the QR code on your screen or visit WBSD.org. michigan.gov/community/family fun night.
Let's savor these moments. Made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live, local, 5 days a week TV, radio, and streaming show about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. As we wrap up today's edition of the Megacast, I want to thank everybody that joined us on our program today. Jason Brown from the Brown Report, Rabbi Kasriel Shemtov from Chabad-Lubavitch of Michigan, and of course, Diane Baldwin from Oakland University, and Dr. Tany Christ as well from Oakland University and Pontiac Reads. If you missed any of these interviews or missed our program today or just tuning in, you can view us live on demand on civiccentertv.com/megacast. You'll also find us on all of our partnering outlets throughout the afternoon for replays as well. civiccentertv.com/megacast. Find information on all of our partnering stations and where we're viewable in your local area. And of course, find all of our programs on demand as well. Also on our website at civiccentertv.com, head over to our local news page for up-to-date and accurate information on COVID-19 from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, as well as the Oakland County Health Division, and articles making headlines throughout the Great Lakes State from many journalistic outlets all across the great state of Michigan. While you're there, clicking through those articles, reading them in full, all their supporting details, and other articles from these publications if you have the means to do so. We highly encourage you to subscribe and support journalism in your local area. That is going to do it for today's program. I want to thank our crew as well for making this program possible. Calvin Brown and Jared Clark at Master Control at My Michigan TV, as well as our producer, the king of television, Larry Nyland, helping us get all these shows together each and every day, helping both our guests and myself be ready for informative conversations for you, Michiganders, every single day. That's it for today's program. We'll return on Tuesday with a new edition of the Megacast.